Swole, Normov.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, testicles, testicles. Oh, welcome everyone to episode 1270 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, seascast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, hustlers, and ye old hoes? Welcome to the Monday morning Gamecast, the Slamcast. Happy October 28th, everyone. I hope you're had a wonderful weekend. I hope you got your fucking sick gains on. You went to the gym, got your pumpy McPumplestiltskin, and you didn't drink and eat too much candy like a man-child. So, how was your weekend? How was everything? South Wales, where are you watching from? Where dost thou hail from? It's your boy. We are embarking on this week with an accountability meeting for Swolenormous members at 12 noon Eastern time today, so about 30 minutes or so from now. So for those of you that are in Swolenormous Uncensored, for those of you that are in Unlimited, we are going to discuss the brand new releases. So just a reminder for those of you that are members, make sure to join us over there. We got week 4 of Swole season we're going to discuss, and some other major movements forward and some big things that we are working on. So if you are interested in hooking in to the private community, you can still join for less than the price of a pumpkin spice latte. Is still Halloween season. Over there at swolenormousx.com, $2.99. You can get access to the weekly accountability meetings and the weekly Ask Papa Swolio lives, plus all the bonus media content. And we got a brand new Swole Motion that will be releasing today. More stuff. More stuff. Big week. We are in the holidays, fam. We are in the holidays. We are in the mire. We're in the swamp. We're crossing to Mordor. We are in the middle of it. Halloween is on Thursday. I don't know if anyone really goes out when you're an adult. I don't know if you really go out on Halloween anymore. I guess this past weekend is when the grown-ups go out, and then on Thursday you take the little chillin' outside and let them go and assault unsuspecting neighbors for free sugar. So hopefully you got it out of your system. Hopefully you don't have to go and do that. I am going to be I might do an evening cast. Maybe I'll do a Jack O'Gaines cast or something on Thursday, but I will not be going anywhere nor attending any of the sugar festivities. I'll probably be eating a steak, enjoying myself, pinching my nips or something awkward, something strange. Anyway, let's see. Hail, so I felt so happy in an empty gym on Saturday night, working out again tonight. Thanks for the encouraging and positive messages. Always informative and no bullshit. You're welcome. Hail, Hallie, however I would say that. What's up, John? Eric's back from Disney. You just got back from Disney yesterday and the day before. You're just always getting back. The rest of you is still coming back. I thought you got back all at once. You said so in yesterday's podcast, like, just got back from Disney. Day before, just got back from Disney. My soul is still in Florida. It's nice. It's beautiful. It's hot. It's sunny. And I was thinking yesterday, we touched upon it because I've been getting a lot of questions about consistency and discipline, and I've been talking a lot about it this time of year because this is a time of year when everyone kind of punches out and changes their schedule. Maybe you're going on vacation, you're going to visit family, you're making the rounds around the country, or doing a lot of things that are out of your normal comfort zone in terms of scheduling, in terms of having visitors in from out of town, or you're going out of town and your schedule changes. So it's kind of like a big weekend. Everyone gets to the weekend and all of a sudden you're not going to work, so you don't train at the same time, you don't eat the same food, your schedule changes, what you do on those days on Saturday and Sunday. The holiday season is kind of like a long weekend. It's like a 2.5 month weekend where things just kind of get ignored, is probably the best way to say it. Whoa. Thanks, I'm awake. Things kind of get ignored when it comes to fitness, because everything that you see on TV, everything that the holidays represents around you is just to eat as much as possible. It's to eat as much as possible. It's to make whatever specific exaggerated foods. It's to live in excess for like a whole 2.5 months. And when you combine that with the colder weather for most people in the United States, it's colder, the weather changes, the schedule changes, and you have the excess food, limited gym hours. Also, when it's cold, people are less likely to want to go outside and and trudge through the snow and scrape off ice from their fucking windshield and all that stuff. I remember I grew up north. So you have this kind of, this, I guess, perfect storm of not doing jack shit, the perfect storm of anti-fitness. So January 1st and right after New Year's is when you have the rush. You have the stampede. You have everyone that are just knocking down the fucking door to get into the gym, because all of a sudden on January 1st, it becomes the most important thing for people. All of a sudden, after January 1st, everyone is all of a sudden going to make all these changes. And the reason why I'm always slinging fuck your resolutions all year round, and especially this time of year, it's because those are the people that don't get results. Those are the people that classically don't make changes. Those are the people that classically just always speak, but they don't have integrity with their words. They don't actually follow through. And the most important workouts that you do, the most important things that you can do for your training, for your nutrition, is really what you're doing today. And it's very philosophical. It's a very much a mindset approach, but you can't work out tomorrow, today. You can't eat tomorrow, today. You can't do anything tomorrow, today. You can prepare food. You can cook in advance. You can think about what exercises you're going to do. You can, schedule your program, or you have a fitness program, but really only what you can do is in the moment. So what can you control today? What can you do better now? What can you do better today that will get you closer to your goal? What can you do in terms of your training? What can you do in terms of your recovery? What can you sneak in? Maybe it's only 10 minutes today, but what can you do for those 10 minutes that will set you up better for where you're trying to go? Whether it's a little bit of yoga, whether it's a little bit of mobility, whether it's preparing some food, maybe it's you have a few minutes to organize some things for tomorrow that will help you execute better tomorrow. But what can you do today in general? What movements and what actions and what preparations can you make today? And a lot of what, the more I think about how I got results, and the more I think about, okay, what are those key points, always coming back to it, what are those key points, those simple points, what kind of, I guess, approach would help the most people? What kind of approach would help the most people get the most progress? And it's really how you're thinking about your training. You're going to stick to your schedule, whether you feel like it or not. You're going to bias towards recovery, but it's really the first workout. It's the ones that you could do right now. It's the first workout that you do. It's the first step that you make. So as much as I have 1,270 podcasts in a row, the most important one was the first one. The most important workout is the workout that you do. The most important yoga class is the yoga class that you do. The most important round of stretching is the round of stretching that you do. Whatever you're doing is the most important thing that you can do, because that's what you're doing, because that's what you're actually taking action on. So that's the most important thing that you should be doing, living in the moment, focusing on what you're doing, prioritizing what you're able to do right now. And wherever you're starting, if you haven't started yet, if you're listening to this and you haven't yet started with your training, is everyone watching, or how about watching and listening right now? Are all of you consistently working out right now? Have you been working out more than three to four times a week or more, like 3 times a week or more for more than 6 months? How many of you watching have been exercising regularly at least 3 to 4 times a week for 6 months or more? How many of you, just drop in the comments if you have been, if that's you. You've been training and lifting weights, maybe at least lifting weights, doing yoga, but you're training and exercising 3 to 4 times a week or more for 6 months or more. So I want to know if there's anyone who just hasn't started. How about that too? If you're a beginner, and put a little context, don't just say yes, because I'll ask another question. If you're brand new, if you haven't started yet, if you're not exercising frequently, if you're just getting started, if you're less than 6 months in, if you just started less than 6 months ago, or if you haven't started yet, drop it in the comments below too. So most of you watching this podcast right now, which makes sense that you are working out, you are doing that, or you're in the process. And a couple of you I see in the comments that you haven't started yet. So some of you are kind of like on the fence. And for those of you that are on the fence, and whether or not you've been training for a while, whether or not you've been training for a while, or whether or not you have, you're kind of just getting into it, it doesn't really matter because nothing's really happened before now. Now is the day one. Now is the day one. Now is the start of all the rest of your days that you have left. So if you have X amount of days left to live, looking into the future, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Okay. So we have now and the future, and you have the past, and you have, your experience and the stories you tell yourself and where you came from and the struggles that you've had with fitness, your ups and downs, good experiences, bad experience, all the life that's behind you. So if you're thinking about now and what's going on in the future, wherever you start, whether you're changing your path, let's say you've been training for years, today can still be day one from a new approach, for a new mindset, for a new focus for your training. And if you've never started, this is going to be just the start period. This is going to be the same thing. It's a change. It's a change from not doing. So if you start to do work, you're changing from not doing work. You're changing from not exercising, from not eating healthy. So it's your first foray, and you're just kind of launching. You're like at the beginning of the journey, so to speak. And it's the most important one, just starting. Whether you're making a change, let's say you're starting the elimination diet, or you're re-upping, you're getting more serious about your training, you're starting some new type of programming, you're starting some new type of approach, that day one is the most important one. That day one, that initial start, that initial launch, that's the most important workout. That's the most important day, because none of the other days after happen unless you start. So the first workout that I've ever done, that was the most important workout. The first podcast that I've done, the first one, Swolenormous Live 001, that was the most important one. Daily Swole 001, that was the most important one, because if I didn't do that one, then none of the other ones would have come after that. You have to start it. If you don't start, you'll never get the rest. If you need to lose 50 pounds, you won't lose any of it unless you lose one. You won't gain 20 pounds unless you gain that first one. You won't get stronger unless you lift that first weight. So wherever you start, that's the most important weight. That's the most important action, is the first one. And it doesn't necessarily get easier, because you get a lot of people that ask, okay, after you've been training for 5 years, hey, Papa Swolio, does it get easier over time? Because I'm not training, or because I've been training for 20 years, does it get easier? And the answer is yes and no. I don't know if it gets easier or if it gets harder, and you just get used to it getting harder. Because the more you lift, then you start dealing with recovery more. You start dealing with those nagging injuries, or all those little tiny things that build up over time from using your body, from maybe not recovering as much and then balancing it out. You have everyone that trains has something to deal with. If you're physically active, no one's just perfectly, there's no pain whatsoever. I feel fantastic. Sometimes I'm tight and I get sore, and sometimes you have little aches here and there, but it just happens because you're using your body. It's not like you're injured, so to speak. So because you're always putting your body through it, you're wearing your body down. Your body's always trying to recover. Over time, you have to change and adjust the way you exercise and the way you put your body under stress. And that's something that I've realized, which is why I push yoga, meditation so much, because if you are beating yourself up over and over and over again, eventually your shit just breaks. You can't just keep on getting stronger. You can't just keep on lifting heavier. You can't just keep on putting on muscle. Eventually you have to reach that point, or you eventually will reach that point where it's all right, I'm not going to get bigger. I'm not going to get stronger. Eventually you'll break. What are you going to keep on going and just keep on adding more weight to the bar until your back snaps during deadlifts, or your knee breaks and just blows apart during squats? There's a point where you're not going to keep on getting heavier. You're stronger. You have to stop. some people don't realize that, and they keep on going heavier and they keep on trying to go more, more, more. And I get it. It's very addictive. We associate a bigger number with more progress. If you're lifting more, oh, I'm doing better. Because now I'm lifting 300 pounds as opposed to 295. I am better. I am doing more. I am succeeding. I don't care how much I bench or squat or deadlift anymore. That's not the goal. That's not the point. And I feel much more fulfilled and happy by not worrying about how strong I am or trying to get stronger and focusing only on strength. I think it's great, but I don't think it's great for long term. I think there's components of it that's effective, but I think that's also the human ego can get really grungy. And that's where a lot of people get lost, is that they only associate the weight and the number going up with success. And then eventually things break. Eventually you hurt something. And you don't want to deal with injury if you can avoid it. And a lot of these injuries in the gyms, especially because you can control what's going on in the gym for the most part, that just can lead to such long-term nagging injuries. And you don't want to deal with that. You can avoid a lot of these problems. So you're going to change. You're going to change. Your approach to training will adjust over time. And I'm doing more. I like the volume. I like the frequency. I like going to the gym more often. I like doing less volume in my workouts. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. I combine more body parts. I try to keep it to more of a larger split. I really do, in general, like a chest and back, legs, and like an arm day. I like breaking up like that. I generally personally don't like going too low when I say too low or too large in terms of the splits. I don't personally like doing upper, lower only, or doing total body workouts. That's not really my focus, because I do a lot of yoga. So I do a lot of total body. I do a lot of integration. I do a lot of mobility type work, but it complements the resistance training. So if you're giving your body overload, and you can focus your overload with resistance training, you build the muscle, you build the strength. And then with movements like yoga and mobility workouts, you are integrating it very well. So it's a great combination for getting physique, size, hypertrophy, but also maintaining that functional movement. So I love the combination. But you have to figure that out. You have to figure out what works best for you and where you are with your results. Because just because you like training a certain way, or you feel good, or you feel consistent, doesn't mean that's going to get you the results. So you have to make sure that your training style and your training direction, your frequency, your overload is going to map to where you're trying to go. So a lot of people trying to look a certain way and they're training for performance. And it's like, well, don't go for aesthetics when you're training for a physical performance. You need to make sure that your actions and those outcomes are going to line up, if that makes sense. Let's go into the comments a little bit. I hope you enjoyed this episode so far. We're going to be going deep this next couple of months, like this whole phase of the holidays. I'm going to be we're going deep. We're going deep with the brain gains, fam. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to go into, and we're going to be fucking crushing, staying focused, making gains, taking fucking names. And I want to remind you that this whole entire season, with a lot of the major releases that's going down inside Swolenormous X, if you want to join the private fam, you can still get access with Swolenormous Uncensored, and you won't miss the live meetings. We got the Ask Papa Swolio live coming up this week. We also have the accountability meeting for all of you members, unlimited and uncensored, in just about 15 minutes, talking about some new releases, some new updates, some big things coming, and foreshadowing. Going to talk about some new things that are in development. Very, very excited. And I know a lot of you, is it, I see in the comments, is it snowing anywhere already? I think some of you are probably getting snow, you fucking psychopaths living where there's snow in October. It's hot right now. Alexa, what's the temperature? It's like
right now, it's 86 degrees.
86 degrees.
Today,
it's hot.
it's a high of 80
All right, enough. It's over. You ask it a question, and then it talks too much. It's no. I want a number. What's the temperature? 85, 86. Just spit it out. Just spit it out. I don't need the details. I don't need the fucking forecast. I want to know. What turns you on? North Pole, Alaska. Yeah, okay. Good one. I know it's snowing somewhere in the world. Calgary. It's supposed to start snowing here later today. Are all of you in Canada right now or something? What's up, John? Prior to joining, I got my squat up to 405, 5x5. Enjoyed it for a couple weeks, but chilled out. Got it on video last time I did it. It's nice to keep, when it comes to strength, and this is like something that really does need to get discussed with guys a lot, because dudes have ego lifting. It's just a testosterone thing. It's a dude thing. You want to show off to yourself. It's like you get it's like an internal psychological hard on. You just fucking like bust a nut when you lift a heavy weight. You're like, fucking, yeah, I did it. Fucking, you're throwing around stuff. It's like, yeah, we don't have battle. We're not in war right now. We don't run around the streets in tribes, sword fighting and club fighting, right? So we have these little internal, in the gym, it's our little battle. It's our little war. But once there gets to a point where things just don't, it only goes so far. You can't ego lift. You can't ego lift. If you want longevity in your training, men and women, if you want longevity, you have to stay away from the Instagram workouts. You have to stay away from, I'm telling you from experience, it doesn't mean that some people can't do it. But I'm telling you, you want to minimize all the fucking plyo, crazy fucking impact shit. You want to be careful from the ego lifting. It's not about how much you lift. To a point, it's great to have strength. You don't need to be able to deadlift 700 pounds. There's no need for it. If you're ever in a situation where you need to lift something that's 700 pounds, that's almost like the last thing you need to have skills with. You need to have... Like, you need to be evaluating other things in your life if you're needing to lift it, like so important that you're deadlifting 700 pounds on a regular basis. I don't even know what situation that would be in. But you get my point. When you're training, you're keeping your body, you're safely overloading your body. And it just gets to a point where, obviously, if you're deadlifting 5, 6, 700 pounds, if you're getting that far, you are training more often than not properly. You're progressing. You're obviously seasoned. You're not a beginner. But I'm just telling you, like, if you take that extreme of 5, 6, 700 pounds and you tone it down, I mean, because it's all relative. Strength is relative. For some people, 200 pounds is the same as what 500 pounds would be to another person strength-wise. Just understand that you have to leave your ego at the door if you want to have a long career in fitness, which is pretty much just life. If you want to be successful and not destroy your body, you need to take care of it. Don't lift with an ego. I never did. It's great. It's great to overload your body. It's great to push it. It's great to train hard. And yeah, you have to fucking throw off the governors and you have to ignore a lot of these body signals like, oh, it burns. Fuck that. Push harder, more. But that's why I like bodybuilding. When you do strength training, you start getting in the high risk because you get more towards those max lifts. With hypertrophy, it's more volume. You stay right in the middle, moderate reps, you're pushing it, 10, 15 reps, 20 reps. Maybe sometimes you're dropping down to 6, 8 reps for more strength, but it's more volume and it's more of an art form in terms of physique and strength and total body overload. And then you go and you practice yoga. I just like putting those pieces together. I feel like it's a safer, more long-term way to train, to combine weight training like bodybuilding, that type of overload, with yoga and with body manipulation and body control. That's why I like that approach. I think it covers so many different aspects. I think you should definitely have control of your body. And people always ask, what about calisthenics? Sure, pull-ups and push-ups, that's great. But what are you, a gymnast? That's impact. It's impact on your joints, but your upper body. And then you don't work your legs enough. You see all these guys on Instagram that are doing all these bar flips. Great. Take off the sweatpants. You got twigs for legs. That's why you can do these human flags all the time. You skip leg day. Most of these guys just fucking do pull-ups all day long. Okay, cool. What about the lower part of your body? That's all they're doing is just arm shit. So anyway, yeah, I know a lot of people here on the podcast came in late, so people are not getting. Make sure you check your notifications. A reminder that Facebook and YouTube will reset notifications sometimes, depending on maybe when the app updates, you have to reset your notifications. So if you go to the page, make sure you turn on notifications so you're getting notified all the time for the podcast. That way you get alerted every time I go live. Because on YouTube, you can hit the bell and you'll think, okay, I'm going to get notified, but it'll only notify you sometimes. You have to click and choose all the time and always. You can customize your notifications. Love the knowledge, cock. You're welcome, Mario. Enjoy all of it, every inch. You should be able to deadlift your body weight. You should be able to deadlift your body weight. You should be able to squat your body weight. General Butt Naked, good name. So you're telling me flailing around is not necessary? No, it's not necessary. I still see ridiculous. You'd think with the internet that bad form would be gone, but I still see tons of bad form. Just make sure you're not sacrificing form for weight. Get away from the ego lifting. We'll talk more about ego lifting. We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about that enough. You can never talk about that enough. The human ego is so strong and powerful. The more we can do to freaking unload that a little bit more. Can you give a shout out to Matthew to convince to go to the gym? Matthew, go to the gym. Don't be a jabroni. Go lift. For some reason, I'm getting your notifications later. For shame. Come on, Zuckerberg. Sergey Brin. Let's go Google. Share my notes. Share my notifications. Benefits of grass-fed beef, omega-3s, CLA, quality, healthy animals. Google it. I'm going to repeat my question until you answer it. Google it. Type it in Google. It'll tell you. Ego lifting equals orthopedic surgery. Possibly. Possibly. I'm telling you, I've been very, very fortunate, but also it's a result of me paying attention, not sacrificing form for the weight, and never ego lifting. I have never ego lifted. I've gone heavy. I've done pretty much max reps, like max sets, if not very, very close to 1 rep max sets. If it wasn't a 1 rep max already, like legit. But very, very rarely. And I won't do it today. I won't do anything 1 rep max. I'm trying to think of any situation where I would do a 1 rep max. I don't think there is. I'll go heavy. I'll go heavy to failure. I'll go heavy for sets for certain exercise. I'll do 4, 6, 8 reps. You know, I'll push, but it depends on the exercise, and I won't do it for super high risk exercises. I don't really fuck around with that kind of stuff for like squats or anything. The lowest I'll go for squats is probably 4 reps or 5 reps. It's probably the lowest I would go for squats today. Same thing with deadlifts, same thing with heavy hip bridges or glute or hip thrusts. I wouldn't go any lower than any lower in reps because, you know, going so heavy that I couldn't get any weight that I can't get for like 4 reps or so at least. I'm not fucking with. Not anymore. Thanks, Papa. Parents only trust you. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Well, if it makes it any better, I don't eat anything but grass-fed beef. So whether or not you want to, you know, you go online to find information. You could find information promoting anything you want. So when it comes to grass-fed beef, you'll find stuff that says, oh, it's the same. And you'll find all the stuff that says it's different. So it's almost, you have to believe what you believe. But anyone that's tried 100% grass-fed beef versus grain-fed, the difference is night and day. I have a question. I don't have thumbs, so I can't do an overhand grip on the bar in a deadlift. Does doing an underhand grip negate the benefits? Do you mean like a closed, like you have alternating grip? It doesn't negate the benefits. Like any position that you have for any movement, you want to try to balance it out. So for example, if I'm doing deadlifts and I do like left over, right under, I'll swap for the next set, or I'll make sure I have competency with my left hand under, right hand over, and vice versa. So I don't do the same thing over time all the time. Bad form isn't gone because people use Instagram to find good form. I love the ego lifters who do half reps with a lot of weight on the bench. There's a lot of people in every gym that will just load up way too much on the bar just to have a lot on the bar, just to see a bigger plate. They won't put a 5 because a 10 looks bigger. You lift with your ego. You lift with your ego, you're not going to be lifting for long, and we'll end it with that. So, fam, those of you that are in Swolenormous, that are members, uncensored and unlimited, we got the accountability meeting in just a few minutes. So if you're interested in accessing the private community, you can do so right now for less than the price of a pumpkin spice latte. Join us inside Swolenormous Uncensored. You go to swolenormousx.com and click on memberships. And if you request access to the private Facebook group and you follow the instructions after signing up, you'll still have time to get in. We'll be checking for at least the first few minutes, and of course, always throughout the day, but to get in time in the Facebook group in time for the accountability meeting, because we're going live just around 12 in just like about 5 minutes. So new releases, new vlog for those of you that's coming today. I'm going to talk about a bunch of things that's coming out and what to expect and some of the focus for the content, which is going to be awesome. Program releases and some major announcements that I'm teasing today. So for those of you that are interested, that are kicking it around and you want to take your shit to the next level, join the Swole fam. Again, swolenormousx.com. I will see all you members in just a few minutes for the accountability meeting. And I'll see everyone here tomorrow for episode 1271 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. See you tomorrow for 1271 fam. Peace, McGeese, Deuce Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.